Once graduated bob. Personally, this is the one haircut, this and long full graduation, that everybody struggles with. But there's a very, very basic rule, and I'm not trying to oversimplify this, but it might be easier if you actually wrote this down, drew yourself head shape and write it down. Because our perimeter length, our length, is below our hairline, we're only going to graduate this upper section. And I want you to think about this head being in 3 sections. Lower, middle, top. Now if our length's at this length, we're only going to graduate the top section. If our length of our bob was on the hairline, we'd do the middle section as well as the top section. And if this is a short bob, like a box bob, then we do the bottom, the middle and the top. That's going to protect you from ever over layering it through, because any form of layered bob should only be that far off your perimeter. Okay, so no more than really 2 inch off your perimeter, because otherwise it will no longer be a bob. A bob is about weight. If you layer it through more than that, it will not have any weight to it. For graduation, I use the clock method. Now, if anybody that's because we're not able to show head blocks on this, if you go to Vidal Sassoon's and you go ABC and you see what their graduated bob is, they'll do head diagrams. So it's not going to be the easiest thing to film this, but we're going to try as best, okay? So because our length is below our hairline, we're only going to graduate our top section, all right? That's the guide. So first and foremost, we'll have a section. Now, to make it easier for filming, I'm going to bring this head back. Now, as I said to you, those that have cut with me before, that section should be no higher than the middle of your chest when you're doing it yourselves, okay? So we can try to film this section pattern and make it easy. We're going to higher mine up and we're going to pull the head back. But on yours, I want you to have it at this level. So that is the centre of your chest bone, okay? Right in the centre. And then you'll be pulling out, you'll not be pulling down, and you'll not be elevating up, stretching. Now, I really appreciate that those guys that have got table stands and you've got it on a table, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to work with it. But ideally, that's where it needs to be at, okay? So I'm going to move mine up so I can put the head back so we can film it. So the first section we have is going to be straight down the centre, okay? Now, I've chosen that my guide is going to be that upper section. So the length of the hair there is going to decide my graduation, okay? So I call this 6 o'clock, and that's what I mean by the clock method. When we think about it, we've got 6 o'clock, everything's pointing straight down. We've got 25 to, 22, quarter to comes into 22. We have 25 past, 20 past, quarter past comes into. It creates a V, and that's what we're after. We're after this doing that, creating an arc in the back because we're one length in the front. So I'm just going to bring it back. So my first section. That is my guide. The length there is my guide. Now that's one length. That's one length. Look how much I'm cutting off. 2 centimetres. So the guide is there. I am not cutting inside the guide and creating an internal shear. I'm using that as my guide, and I've got a very slight decreasing angle, a very slight taper on that. You can see that. But you can see how much hair is coming off. I'm going to cut through that section. 6 o'clock. If I check that against my perimeter, it's that much shorter. I'm then going to go 25. Everything comes from the centre, like on the clock. Everything comes from there. I'm going to go to 25-2. Look at the angle. Now what's important here, I'm just going to clip that. What's really important is that as fingers go in on the same angle, as fingers go in at 6, now we're going to go in at 22, 25-2. So we're going to elevate that section up, including its previous section. Only as deep as what the section is. My fingers are on that same angle, look, the perpendicular to the section. Pull that angle out. There's my guide. I can clearly see there, look, there it is. I can see my guide. And I'm going to cut through that section. I'm now going to go on to 22. Everything coming from the apex. 22. Again, I'm going to pick that whole section up. My fingers are on the same angle as the section. Pull out. I am not over directing across. I'm pulling out in direct line to the section. Look at my fingers. Direct line to the section. That's pointing in the centre. That's on the same angle as 22. Again, you can see my guide underneath. I'm going to come out and I'm going to cut through that section. Now if I drop that section, look what it does. It creates half of a V. This is where people go wrong. Quarter two. Quarter two cannot go into quarter two because what you'll do then, you'll come square and it will not have a V shape. It'll be a uniform rounded layer. So quarter two comes into the same angle and section as what 22 did. We pull out. There's my angle. There's one length. I let go, it's true. I let go again, half a V. You can see half a V. So I'll just put red back up for visuals. Look, I'm even calling her hair. So, let's look. There's the start of my V. That's what